Are flesh hounds of Khorne any good? What they are is intensely interesting. When I think of a hound unit, it's a large gaggle of man-sized and smaller entities able to chew up archers and choking on most infantry in the game. These are larger than man-sized demonic dogs able to take a bite out of much tougher targets. And yes, the dog puns practically write themselves. Please like, subscribe, comment, and consider donating through my Ko-fi page. All support is welcome. Arigato. I didn't do this video earlier because I didn't use them much in my first Khorne campaign. I'd almost call that a mistake, but I was trying out the Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, and they aren't bad. That said, I feared the Flesh Hounds would just be more money sunk into a disposable hound unit I would lose upon first contact with a cavalry-happy faction. I badly underestimated this unit. Let me start off by saying the spell resistance is 50%. That's shockingly high, so you should be aware of it first. One of the easiest counters to an artillery backstab is for a caster lord to nuke your backstabbers. Yes, Zhao Ming, I see you over there grinning like a madman. I remember what you did to my sneaky gits. Well, that's a lot harder to do with flesh hounds because they really are demonic. They won't run away. They might crumble when shattered, but they won't turn and run, giving you a better chance to use cannon crews as your chew tools. Since these are 32 models on Ultra, unit HP of 6176 means that each model has 193 hit points, which is kind of high. Armor is only 30, but they have physical resistance of 20% to start with, 60 leadership, which is on par with a lot of basic infantry formations, and blazing 95 speed, so the larger size doesn't slow them down one bit. Melee attack is 36 to start with and is magical attack also, meaning that savage orcs are food to them. Attack interval of 4 is standard infantry speed, as in, not cavalry speed. They hit faster than Warhounds. Melee defense is 26, which is not great, but that's not what you bring dogs for. You'll see in this footage, if you watch closely at first, that there is a small splash damage effect available. One model can damage 2 targets at once. This is a major advantage when dealing with infantry formations. Weapon strength is 58 with base damage 38 and armor piercing of 20. Now, even if it's slanted toward base damage, it's nowhere near as slanted as with regular hounds. Longer fangs, I guess. You're doing no worse than if they were Chaos Knights. To the contrary, actual Chaos Knights have 37 base and 16 armor piercing before Frenzy is applied. To them, that is. The Flesh Hounds don't have Frenzy. That's too bad, but point is, armor doesn't slow them down nearly as much as it could. This means increased versatility. Note that Chaos Knights are a lot better armored, but are literally over twice the cost. What about charges? Flesh Hounds have charge bonus 46, whereas regular Chaos Knights have 44, but that's supplemented by Frenzy in their case. Also, Chaos Knights have a mass of 1200 per model, as opposed to 450 for the Hounds. So the Hounds hurt on the charge, absolutely. It's actually very impressive how solid they are in that role, and like I said, the splash damage makes them spread damage around to compensate for having fewer models. But you'll see in this footage that I tried to have the Hounds switch targets, and it didn't work. They cannot and will not pull through enemy units like chariots. You have to think of Hounds as obsessed lovers. When they go in, they're making a commitment till death do you part, preferably the other side's death. That's their role. Don't think you can cycle charge with them, but on the other hand, they won't run away. They'll fight and die in close combat. I deliberately did a Vanguard deployment charge with the first combat footage, but that made them honorary anvils while Bloodletters charged from what used to be the front. Since Flesh Hounds don't melt easily, they held long enough for this to work. It meant they took damage, but let's be honest, they're better at tanking this damage than the Bloodletters, at least for a while. Remember, high HP per model? You can hold them back and send them in after the initial lines clash too, which is more what I did in the second try. But the High Elves AI got a little weird. Well, that's another bone to pick. Yes, dog puns. Point being, when the battles ended, the Flesh Hounds weren't the highest kill units at all. It wasn't even close. Yet the battles ended quite quickly, and the Bloodletters had big kill counts. This means that the Flesh Hounds stopped the archers from turning the Bloodletters into pincushions, and did enough disruption and turning heads that the Bloodletters had a much easier time of it. And unlike what you would expect of Warhounds, the Flesh Hounds didn't melt. I mean, they took some losses here, but it's nothing they wouldn't bounce back from quickly in campaign. Also, the ability to face tank for short periods gives you options. That's something I could never do with those Marauder Horsemen, so it's very interesting. In campaign, you also have some technologies that I can't show off in AI Skirmish. Key among them, a +7 bonus versus large they can share with the Warhounds. I mean, that's not a lot, but considering that even medium cavalry are usually the bane of hound units, and that flesh hounds are too big to trample down, you have potential to make them punch way above their weight in cavalry engagements. If nothing else, you can pin down some stuff for Chaos Knights to slam into the side. That alone is valuable. I want to give one important caveat. If all you want is a fast unit to take out archers and unprotected artillery, barring heavy armor, the Warhounds will do it better. There's more of them, and between frenzy and high base weapon damage, they'll wipe out such units faster. The problem is that this is all the Warhounds can do. Fleshhounds have much more chin, and far higher leadership, plus that armor-piercing damage makes them relevant through many more fights. That's the limit of what they can give you. It's a lot for the recruitment cost, but by the same token, it means that they can only carry you so far. You can't go expecting them to outfight Chaos Knights or a lot of similar units. You can expect them to arrive first to the battle and to make the other side miserable, unless and until they're driven back to the Chaos Rooms. So yes, they're good, but overestimate their staying power in a prolonged brawl, and it's back to the kennel fray. Take care, and have fun gnawing your way to victory.